I'll let him speak on that as the Etowah Blue Devils are up and Coach Matt Glover, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having us. Like I said, we did an OTA with Leeds today, so it was kind of a bad scheduling on my part, and so they're on their way back. I had to leave a little early, so, like I said, appreciate everything y'all do and for having us.
Coach, talk about this year's Etowah Blue Devil team, returning starters. I know there's a lot of outstanding seniors on that team last year. Talk about those guys that are coming back, those guys you're going to count on this year for the Blue Devils.
Well, from the last game against Esther, I think we have 7 returning starters on both sides of the ball. So we're going to be a work in progress, move some guys around. And some of the guys that started for us last year are playing different positions this year, like Jamison Sisson, who was a receiver, will be our quarterback this year. Braylon Mostella, who played, O-line for us, is moving to defensive line. But the guys, the ones we got, and they're showing up and doing what we ask them to do, that we're getting better. It's just, it's kind of like they're having to figure things out. We played, like yesterday we played Arab, and today we played Leeds. And so I wasn't very pleased with our effort yesterday, but today it was a lot better, especially playing, Leeds has probably got one of the best defensive lines I've ever coached against. They're going to be really, really good. So, and our kids, our O-line, stepped up today and did a good job against them. So,
talk about any newcomers this year, guys that we may not have heard, have been written about, been talked about, guys that you're going to count on this year.
Defensively, one is going to be a junior kid named Kason Nelms. He plays outside linebacker for us. He finally, last year, he was he's a 10th grader, young kid. He's kind of like a baby kitten, wake up in a different world every morning. But this year, he's kind of figured it out. He's really gotten a lot stronger, a lot more physical, and is understanding the defense. I think he's going to be really good. O-line-wise, we got a kid named Jalen Greer who's going to be a junior, who was a JV player last year, who's coming back, starting guard for us, who's really done well. Receiver-wise, got a kid that played basketball that played last year, or started out playing last year, but decided he didn't know how fun practice was, so he kind of quit. But he's a basketball kid, Jalen Walker, big, tall kid. I think he can be really, really good. Pleased with one of the big changes we made. We got a new OC named Jake Hogan. He's coming from Pinson Valley. He and I are kind of on the same page in mentality and the way we coach, and I think he's going to be a really added asset to our program.
Coach, when you was at Clay, you and I used to talk weekly, and you always told me if that Etowah job ever come open, you'd be interested in it. Well, you've been here now. You've been to Etowah for a year now. You've built a house. I don't know if you can put into words what football means to Etowah and Etowah City Schools and the high school, obviously, but what's it been like? You're a year in with that now. Was it everything you imagined, or was it different, or what?
Yes, it was. I think it's not so much football as it is sports in general. There's not many places you go where you go to a baseball game and you got 1,500 people in the stands at a baseball game like we had this year. Coach Bone and what he's done with that baseball program, it's phenomenal. And it kind of carries over. I think that maybe we had as a football staff a little help in getting I think the kids were a little, I'm not saying they're tough kids, but I don't think the work ethic was quite what it needed to be. So with him and Coach Grays and me, we're all on the same page. Like we lift all our kids, all our athletes in the morning, and not many schools do that. Some schools football coaches don't want the basketball kids in the weight room with them, but we're trying to get all these kids to be a community type deal, and where nowadays the loyalty and community's kind of gone out the window with parents and the transfer portal in high school. So, my son's involved in the Little League program now, playing football at Little League at Etowah, so I'm out there every day watching practice. They love it here. My daughter's second grade. He's going into 6th, so my wife loves it, and as long as she loves it, that's all that matters. So, but yeah, it's like I told you, I'm from a small place, so she's from a small place, and this is home. couldn't add. They give you we get every resource we need to be successful. It's our job as coaches to make it, happen. So couldn't be more proud. I'm more pleased in the town, the community, the city, everything involved.
Coach, just to kind of piggyback on Bo's question, just crunch some numbers. Last year was the 9th playoff victory in the last 7 years, 13th consecutive year with a winning record. Etowah hasn't missed the playoffs since 2009. That's almost unheard of in this day and age. And I know last year at this time you talked about why go to a place where our low expectations, but when you first hit the first couple of games on Jim Glover Field, did it kind of hit you how special that place was, where the expectations are so high? And I guess all those expressions, a lot have been given to you, a lot is expected.
Yeah, when you have, I think our first game last year against Springville was like a $16,000 gate, which is really, really good. Really helps our budget and what we're trying to get accomplished. So, that and everywhere we were at the beach, I guess in 1st of June, and I had on an Etowah hat, the E hat, and some guy comes and said, "Go Big Blue." I have no clue who he is. It's an Alabama Auburn type mentality, the following they have. I think our staff at the high school, I'm not sure, but it's probably 80 to 85%, Etowah graduates. So both principals now, the principal and the assistant principal, are both Etowah graduates, both played sports there. So they know the importance of sports in this community and how much it brings this community together.
Coach, last year Trace had an outstanding year at quarterback. This year it's going to be a different type quarterback. Jamison has a straight-up cannon for an arm. He also has some legs. He can really move in a big frame. How do you plan on using him a little bit different maybe than they used Trace last year?
He's going to be a different type. He's going to run the ball for us a lot. We're going to be a big RPO team. But Trace was more of a between the tackle runner, where, because heck, he's 230 pounds, Jamison's going to be more outside the tackle type runner. We're going to do some unique things offensively, formation-wise, to put teams in some binds because I look at it like, how would I defend it? And I'm not. But if it's hard for me to defend, I know other people are going to have a hard time defending it. So we're gonna be. It's going to be a little different. So it's still a spread concept, but a lot more empty quarterback runs with different type of RPOs. So we're just trying to see how it goes. And it always is kind of, we haven't put on pads yet. Bad thing about our baseball team being so good is I didn't see these kids until June because there is no spring training at Etowah, and so there's no sense in even because why even deal with it, because all your quarterbacks are playing baseball, and I feel like that's going to be like that way from here on out. So we got to kind of find out of our identity and what we can do. We're trying this, and if it don't work, we'll scrap it and go something else. Like defensively, I'm looking at changing some stuff up just because of personnel that we have. So, but it's. To be honest with you, Bo, the question you ask, I think they're real similar, but I think there's some differences in them. Good thing about Jamison is he really hasn't been in a system yet, per se, offensively. So he hasn't really learned, so he's learning a system kind of for the first time, and so he don't revert back to old ways, old habits. So it's kind of a good thing.
So obviously, you have a full off season with them. You even had the full season. What have you kind of seen from maybe that's different from this year, point last year, and this today?
Practice, the way, the expectations. Last year, I kind of assumed that everybody knew how it could go, how it should go, how practice should go. And like my old high school coach said, when you assume something, there's something that But so this year, our kids know what to expect when we go out there on the field. Our coaches know what to expect. My voice doesn't raise as much as it did last year, just because of we're able to coordinate practices where everybody knows what's going on. It's quick, moving around. So I think that's the big thing for us. And then expectations of what we expect in the weight room. We've gotten stronger this year. We had full off season in the weight room with the kids. They bought in, so I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, one question before we wrap it up today. Talk a little bit about your schedule. You look down the schedule. Etowah's always got a tough schedule. Fort Payne's there. Of course, Aniana and Cherokee County. That's just a tough region. 3 great teams in that region. So talk a little about the 2023 schedule for us today.
We're going to start out a jamboree against Arab. So that'll be a fall jamboree. We'll play them, who's a really well coached team. Coach Osmond does a great job. And then we go straight into Springville, who is one thing about coaching 4A football compared to coaching 6A football is 6A football is easy to coach. When I mean that is because everybody kind of does the same thing offensively and defensively. So you see the same type stuff every week in and week out. In 4A, we go from Arab, who's a 20-10 personnel team, then Springville next week is running triple option. You go play. You play Asheville, which I don't know if they're doing their single wing. Then you go to a spread team. So it's as a coach, it kind of makes it harder to prepare to get your kids because you only got 4 days to prepare to get ready to play a game. So, and I like that because our region is really tough. I think Cherokee County, they lost some players, but they're going to be just as good as they were last year. Aniana's got the running back who's as good as there is in the state of Alabama. The other teams in our region are going to be better, and then you throw in Fort Payne, Springville, Coleman, and Southside. It's tough, but I think that as long as you make the playoffs and you get better as the year goes on, some coaches, like I've coached with a guy one time, he wanted to schedule wins. I think you try to schedule to get your kids better, to prepare them for what to play. Because the ultimate goal is to play in December, not whether you won or lost the Week 5 non-region game. So, but it's a daunting task, but it's fun.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Thanks for making time today. I know you left early, left your team there. We appreciate you being part of this today, and good luck.
Thank you.